This time on Dreddit. My 21M girlfriend's 20F parents have stolen money from her and ruined her credit, and she feels there's nothing that can be done. My girlfriend is in college now and she recently found out that her parents have tanked her credit score using a credit card she ordered a long time ago but never received. Big surprise. They used her credit card to pay for utility bills, and of course never paid them off. She says she can't report that the payments were not from her because her parents will go to jail. They have 2 sons as well, 16 and 4. They've quite often borrowed money from her, even though they never pay her back and even get mad at her when she brings it up, so thankfully she's stopped doing that. But right now there is nothing that makes me more mad than hearing about how helpless she is to all of this total bullshit they put her through. She's got incredible potential, going to the best university in the state for a civil engineering degree. Is there any way that she doesn't have to take responsibility for their financial use of her without sending them to jail?
My son met his deceased grandfather at the hospital. First Reddit post ever, so please bear with me. My son was born with a single heart ventricle and needed 3 open heart surgeries before the age of 5 to survive. After my son's 3rd heart surgery, he developed an extremely rare complication that could only be resolved with a heart transplant. We lived in the hospital for almost 3 months, while he was on a transplant list. I can honestly say those were the worst 3 months of my life, seeing my son suffer and not knowing if he'd be okay. It was absolute torture. During the course of waiting, the complication was unexpectedly resolved, and he no longer needed the heart transplant. Believe me when I say that it was nothing short of a miracle. No one could have predicted that he wouldn't need the transplant. Fast forward to a couple of months after we finally came home. I was going through some boxes that had my husband's old family pictures in it, including some pictures of my son's grandfather. My father-in-law died 16 years before my son was born, so my son had never met him. We didn't have any pictures of him in our house at that time either. At some point my son sat next to me at the kitchen table to see what I was doing. We came across a picture of my father-in-law, and my son says, "Oh hey, I know that guy." I said, "You don't know him, buddy. You've never met him. He died a long time ago, before you were born." My son had a very serious expression on his face and said, "Yes I did, Mommy. I know him. That's Bill. He used to sit next to me every night at the hospital and watch me. I think he was a doctor or something. My father-in-law's name was Bill." My son didn't know that. I don't know what to make of this, but I liked the idea of my son's grandfather watching over him during the scariest time of our lives, which was resolved through a legitimate miracle. My son is 13 now, and I like to think he has a guardian angel watching over him.
Ex-girlfriend ended things between us after she caused me to lose my leg in an accident, but is trying to reconnect right now after I got myself a prosthetic leg. In 2019 I got into a car accident and injured my left leg severely. My ex-girlfriend was the one driving and was the one responsible for the accident because she was fighting with and yelling at me in the car over a minor issue. I advised her to either stop fighting or stop driving, but she was reckless and didn't care that she was risking not only my life, but hers as well. I suffered for months because of my leg. I had a severe infection resulting in amputation and had to use assistant tools to be able to move. My ex-girlfriend became distant and my parents were my main carers. Her treatment towards me took a 180 turn. Suddenly I wasn't good enough for her anymore, and at some point started comparing me to other fully functional guys, claiming I wasn't the problem, it's her low self-esteem, and so she was required to look for a partner with better look, financial stability and so on. She made my trauma all about her, and how being with a guy with one leg affected her self-esteem and image in front of everybody. She broke things off with me and our relationship was supposed to end that day, but I foolishly spent months begging and convincing her that we were meant to be together. I even promised her that I'd do all I can to be able to walk again and reminded her of the plans we had together, and I hated myself for it. My self-esteem was almost non-existent. I was dealing with PTSD on top of that. I fucked up and resorted to medication to ease the pain. Therapy was on and off for me because I'd get extremely agitated at the mention of my ex-girlfriend. It took time for me to be able to talk things out properly. I was so stupid thinking she was my one and only, and it got worse when I became convinced that no one will accept me and my disability, since it's the reason my relationship with my ex-girlfriend ended. My parents helped with so much. They and few of my friends supported me to get through this after seeing my overall health decline. In the past 6 months I was given the opportunity to be able to walk again after getting a prosthetic leg. It's long overdue, but money was the main problem. I'm a lot better now, my health is getting better, my mental health improved and gained more self-confidence. My ex-girlfriend reached out to one of my friends wanting to talk to me about getting the prosthesis and bettering my health. My friend was like a messenger between us, but I kept her in the dark, so she knows nothing more than what my friend knows. I added clear that I have no intentions to speak to her or discuss my health with her. My friend was respectful and stopped speaking to her about me. She visited my mom last week and left her number with her, expecting me to call. I was stunned that she was talking to my mom. My mom told me my ex was out of town and was low contact with everyone and couldn't check in on me despite wanting to. She said I had never left her mind and she was feeling happy and excited for my experience with my new prosthesis. Right now she is waiting for me to call so we can get together and talk, but I didn't feel comfortable with the idea. I gotta say I felt nostalgic and wanted to call her number a few times, but part of me prevented me from doing so. It's been a week and I didn't call her. I'm not sure if I still have feelings for her. My family say I should talk to her. After all, we have known each other for 7 years. It's clear she wants to connect, but I just don't think this is what I want. How should I deal with this pressure?